Greetings, African people. Hope you're all doing good.
When I am dead, wrap the mantle of the red, the black, and the green around me. For in the new life, I shall rise up with God's wisdom blessing. To lead the millions of the heights and the triumph that you well know. Look for me in a world when there's a storm. Look for me all around you. For the darkness, I shall come back with countless millions of black men and women who have died in America, those who have died in the West Indies, and those who have died in Africa. To aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life.
Greetings, my African people. Hope you're all doing good. I'm just going to wait a few minutes and then we will start. So for those who don't know, today we are going to talk about Susu, the African Susu, and why is it important for us as African to incorporate this type of economic system. Once again, welcome to the Oya Show. I'm your brother, your host, Avenon Shaka. So we're gonna give you a quick introduction on what the Susu is. So for those who don't know, again, the African Susu is like a credit union. It's a way of raising funds to start a business without paying any interest fee. So I will again, show you some information. I have a few, I have a grid here, and also some numbers for you to actually see what is about and how this type of economic system can be used, to help us again. So welcome, Sister Adwa.
Peace, family, peace.
How are you doing, beloved?
I'm doing well, beloved. How are you?
Good. So, family, we are going to try to do this real quick for you so that you don't feel overwhelmed. So, Sister Adwa was just telling them about the African Susu and what it is. I don't know if you were there when I started, but I would like you to, give them some more information or more detail
Sure.
on. Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Are you getting feedback from me?
Do you have a YouTube or any other screen open? Because if you have
No.
YouTube, no?
Just the StreamYard. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh wait, it's showing me live on YouTube. Is that what that is?
Well, if you have YouTube app open, close it and just
Okay.
have the StreamYard open.
Okay. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, family. So we just wanted to take everybody through the history of the traditional Susu. So, in different communities, it goes by different names. We may know it as Tontin, Padna, if you have Caribbean parentage, throw hand, but they all make up a Susu. So basically, the difference between the traditional Susu versus like a pyramid or a blessing loom is that a Susu always has to equal, right? So, let's take the number 100. Everything always has to go back to that. Whereas a blessing loom, you'll always be left with something in there. And that should not be the case if it is a Susu or or a pot, basically we can call it, right? So that's the main difference between the pyramid and the blessing loom and the Susu, is that with the pyramid, you always have something left over, which is the person that's left not being paid. Whereas the traditional Susu, everything always is equal. So you always get to zero. Susus are like, I guess I would call it like the founding form of a credit union, where all the members pool their funds together for later use, and also to assist other members with funds. Traditional Susus were used to help marginalized communities to gain a leg up, as the mainstream options were not interested in assisting. So basically, even back to the even if we go back to the 80s and 90s, a lot of our families weren't able to obtain those mortgages or financing. So they did have to find creative solutions to, send their kids to school, purchase homes, basically meet their goals, right? Um, so it was always an attractive option for like manual laborers, seamstresses, just because, they're not paid on like a biweekly or a weekly or a monthly. They may receive their money, every other third Thursday or something like that. Whereas when you're in the community, you understand, hey, you know what? The seamstress is going to get paid after she makes such and such dresses. So this is when we can rely on her money coming in. The laborer, once he does 10 houses, is going to receive his money. He does 10 houses every 2 months. This is how we're going to help accommodate him, right? So it was like creative solutions to basic problems. Um, and then the accountant, like the person that was organizing it, would always understand when everyone's money would come in. So that would kind of help keep things level because, for example, you're throwing your hand every week and then you're looking and you're saying, but Susan is not throwing hers. So that's when the accountant would step in and say, well, no, I've already dealt with that. I know that they're going to come in at this time and this time so that by the time you're supposed to get your hand, their hand will be in, right? Just to keep things equal. They kind of manage it. So an accountant, manager, secretary, whatever term that you want to use, but someone that manages the Susu pot.
Great introduction. I just want to add something to it.
Sure.
So in Africa, for instance, there are a few different types of Susu. I will say two. One in which you just solely contribute money, and the other one is money and goods or product or produce. So let's say every week, for instance, each member has to give $10, and we have 10 people. This is $100, right?
Yes.
So 10 people, let's say if I'm giving $10 every week, on top of the $10, I will have to give, again, those things are flexible. It depends on the people, the members. Everybody has to agree upon the rules before they start. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So on top of my $10, I will give a kilo of rice, for instance, 5 soaps, and everything is determined before you start the susu. A liter of oil. So let's say 3 items so that I don't get confused. So we have a liter of oil, we have soaps, and we have rice, plus my $10. So every week I will be giving this until, it's done. The first hand is done. So let's say Sister Adwa is the one going first. So she will go home with $100, 10 kilos of rice, 10 soap, and 10 liters of oil, so on and so forth. As opposed to the blessing looms, as you call it. So the blessing looms, you will have to keep bringing people in. But the susu, if you start with 10 people, it will end with 10 people, and everybody will get the same amount of money or the same amount of produce or product.
Exactly.
So it's not like a scam. You understand? If you want to gamble, then you can do the blessing looms, but I don't recommend that one. The susu can help us in so many ways. For instance, us Black people or African people in general, we often complain about not being able to be approved for loans, for instance. If you have a susu where, let's say, every month, for instance, somebody's going home with 10,000, if you have a business plan and you need 10,000 to start a business, there you go, with no interest fee. All you have to do is, of course, repay what you're supposed to pay. So let's say if you're contributing 1,000 and you have 10 people, this is 10,000, right? So you will have to pay your 1,000 until it reaches 10,000. I don't know if you guys want to see the numbers right now or anything. I don't know if people are here, family. If you're here, comment. Tell me where you're watching the live from. Tell me if you have specific questions so that we can go over it.
Well, let's tell the people how to start a susu.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead. Explain how we can start a susu, for instance.
So you can start with a small group. You don't need a large group to start with. I mean, of course, when you hear the big numbers, all of our eyes will get very bright. But just start really small so that everyone can kind of get comfortable with the process and understand what's expected. Because really, it is a commitment. So it's the same way as you would think of paying your mortgage or your rent or any bill that needs to be paid is the same discipline you need to go in the Susu with. So start very small with a group of maybe 5, maybe 10 max. Family members, friends, people that you can trust that have access to income on a regular basis, unless the group is comfortable with someone, paying in a lump sum or whatever creative solution they may have. But everyone has to be upfront and comfortable with the situation. Start very small, start with a small round amount. Let's say if we start with 10 people, we'll go for 1,000. Once you get that 1,000, everyone gets their 1,000, everyone's happy, it gives them a little bit of momentum, then you keep building on that. So can I share like my first experience with the Susu?
Go ahead, beloved.
So my first experience with the Susu was in 2004. There was an elder lady that I had worked with, and she was doing Susus for maybe since the 90s. So I was expecting at the time, and she came to me and she said, "You know what? Listen, I want you to go ahead and join this. Like, it'll give you X amount of dollars. This is how we're going to do things." She goes, "But I'm very strict." She said, because I worked with her, she said the money has to be on my desk by 11 a.m. each payday. If it's a moment late, I'm going to email you. And she was serious. But it gave me the experience and the discipline to know that it had to be there, right? And, when it was time to pay out, she asked you how you wanted it. Do you want it in 20s? Do you want it in 50s? Do you want me to put in your account? Of course, you gave her a fee. I think it was $25 that she charged. But, I was able to keep going with that until I was no longer at the work. And the only reason why I stopped is because she didn't accept electronic. Like, she would pay you electronically, but you had to give the money to her. And it was difficult getting to her at that time once I didn't work at that job anymore. But, the first experience was a beautiful one. Also, she had many groups that she was running. So she had another large group with some older ladies. I would say they were probably in their 50s or 60s. 25K is what their hand was. This is how they all paid for their children's education. They put their down payments. They were able to, so whenever they wanted to refinance and, needed to bring things down, this is how they were able to do it. So every single person had like minimal amounts of debt. So even though they were working, they were still very comfortable in the way that they did things, right? And I respected the way they did things because really, when you look at it, they were just like regular. So, when how we tend to put people in categories. So you wouldn't call them like the most financial savvy, but instead they were very advanced in a lot of their techniques, right? And they were in great positions considering how simple they lived, and again, I'm in quotes, I'm not calling them simple. I'm just, stating that because they lived simply, you wouldn't think that they were able to acquire all they did, but that's how they maintained their comfort. And that was something that I've always admired and respected about the way she ran it. So here we are, trying to bring it to the people.
Thank you for sharing this. Again, family, we have to take this seriously, honestly, because this is the only way we can first build trust. Because when it comes to money, I often say this, we Black people become skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to contributing money, raising funds and whatnot, we become very skeptical. So instead of going online and putting a GoFundMe account, we can first build trust, start small, even if it's $5 every month, for instance, and you have a group of 5 people. That's not that much. Of course, you will see, that's nothing. But at the end of the day, you're building trust, right? And then if the first Susu or everything went well, you can go and say, you know what? The first time we did it, it was a success. We're going to keep the same amount of people. We have 5 people now. Instead of contributing $5, we are going to be contributing $10, or maybe you go straight to $50, right? So on and so forth. So I don't know if you want to add something before we go to how to set it up, but I would like them to see numbers and, for them to have a visual of how the money is raised and how everything goes. I don't know if you have anything
Yeah,
to add.
let's go ahead and go to the setup, because with the setup we'll talk about record keeping and etc. as well.
Okay, family, are you able to see my screen? If not, let me know. If it's, then we will go. You can see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Anybody in the comment? Are you guys able to see it? Would you like
I
me
see
to?
that people are saying so beautiful, really is beautiful. I don't see anything else. Are we
Okay.
seeing the same comment section?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me, you know what? Let me
Oh,
exit.
yes. They said yes.
Okay, great, 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 great. So, so you're able to see it. Can you see the number properly, or is it too small?
It looks a little small.
How about now?
I think that I'm just seeing I'm seeing us and then that, but I guess someone else should comment how they see it.
Yes, family, can anybody comment and let me know if this is too small for you? Like you can see the numbers, family, or not?
Oh yeah, if you zoom in, you can. Okay.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's one figure. So let's say the amount is $10. I don't know if you can see the cursor. The amount is $10. And let's say every 4 week, which is a month, right? Let's say if we have 5 people every month, so after every 4 weeks, somebody goes home with $200. If you have 10 people contributing the same amount of money, so $10 every week, every month, somebody will go home with $400, right? So on and so forth. The second figure is, let's say, 5 weeks instead of 4 weeks. 5 people, this is 250, right? 10 people, it's $500. So on and so forth. So let's say now you go with 6 weeks. You want, so it's 300 if you have 5 people contributing $10, and it's 600 if you have 10 people contributing $10. Now I'm gonna go and I don't know if you, okay, let me just do this quickly. Sorry, multiple screen here. So let's say we decide as a group of people to contribute $200 every week, for instance. And let's say you have 10 people. Yeah, 10 people, $200, 5 weeks, that's $10,000, right? So $10,000 for each member. Again, we have to understand that the Susu, the rules of the Susu are very flexible. Let's say we build trust, for instance. I'm going to give an example, and Sister Adua will expand on it. We are part of a Susu, for instance, right now, like multiple Susus, I will say. But one of the Susus, every 6 weeks or 5 weeks, somebody goes home with okay, every 5 weeks, somebody goes home with $8,000. And, people have been really, really happy with how things are going, to the point that we want to set another one. And now we're thinking about how can we actually maybe leave the money, because if you go to the description box, I posted a few links of books actually that explain how you can generate more money, build or create structures using Susu. So let's say, like I said, a group of 10 people, every 5 weeks, somebody's going home with 10,000. Let's say the members decide not to go home with the money. And we have a business advisor, for instance, an accountant, and whatever. And then we said, you know what? This is 10 people times 10,000. This is $100,000, right? With $100,000, you can buy a property. You can buy a house in some places in North America. You flip the house the next year. You either keep the money, buy a bigger house, and so on and so forth. And then once somebody decides to leave, they give that person their money back plus some interest. So if you were supposed to get, let's say, 10,000, you'll be getting 15,000 or 25,000, depending on how much the house was sold for, right? So this is, again, something we can do as group of people, as an organization. If we are into community building, I think it's very important to think about business opportunities. Not that everybody takes their money and just go home, and then that's good also, because if you have bills to pay, if it's tough for you to make your ends meet, yes, that's good. But at the end of the day, we have to go bigger we have to understand that this is something that we can utilize, like how we have dynasties in the Yoruba culture, for instance. They're masters of Susu, masters, and I'm not talking about 10,000 US dollars. I'm talking about 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 people are going home with every month. But again, you're not going to take 500,000 and go shopping with it, right? You're not going to take 500,000 and go build a house with it. You got to think about the business. That's how you have those women. Same with the Wolof Senegalese women. Same with the Ewe, what they call the Nana Bens, the women who were actually, driving a Mercedes when nobody was able to purchase a Mercedes because they had a very strong Susu community. So they will send one person abroad, purchase textile, distribute to all of us. Again, the money came from the Susu. The money came from the Susu. So when I posted something today, there were a few brothers actually who came, mostly brothers, were asking me, what's the difference between the blessing loom or the Susu? And there's a brother who said, he's built an entire a company with the Susu. She took her money and invested the money into a business. Now she's a millionaire, right? So that's what we want people to understand. This is not a scam. It has nothing to do with the blessing loom. This is an African way of doing things. This is an African way of of raising funds to start a business. If this thing was a scam, I'm sure Dr. Amos would have never spoken about this in his book. And he gave specific example. The Cameroonian Susu, for instance, even here in Montreal, they are the biggest Susu group here. And when I'm talking about money, I'm not talking about $10,000. I'm talking about 500,000, 1 million. You understand? So I don't know if anybody has questions. If you want me to leave the numbers there for you to see it a bit longer, or if you have any question, let me know or let us know before we move to the next point. Any questions? No? No? Okay.
Don't be shy, family. Don't be shy.
Don't be shy, family. Any questions? You are welcome. Again, one thing I want you to keep in mind, trust. It's a very good way to build trust because we Black people have issues. We have trust issues. We don't trust each other. So when money is mentioned, everybody, becomes skeptical, but this is a way to build trust. You don't have to go big. We, for instance, Sister Adwa and I, one of the Susu in which we are, it's $200 every week. You don't have to pay it on a weekly basis. If you want to pay it at once, it's up to you. If you want to pay $50, 100, 200, it's really up to you. But at the end of the 5 weeks, make sure your 1,000 is there, right? And again, it has been going very well, honestly. And one of the sisters in the group was even thinking about keeping the money or leaving half of the money and invest in real estate. So that's how we can create structures. That's how we can, purchase things that we need to develop our communities because selling food, selling clothes, selling things help us build our communities, family. That's not how other people are doing it. The Chinese also are very powerful when it comes to Susu. That's how they purchase those convenience stores. Same with the Indians. That's how they go and purchase those gas stations. They have cash. It's not always the bank that gives them the loan. They have a strong foundation of group economics. And Susu is part of group economics. And this is something that originated in Africa. Why can't we take advantage of something our ancestors created, for instance? Right? Exactly. So we're going to move to the next point, which is how
there's
to.
A question.
Oh, yeah.
Miss Edith asked, is it hard to get skeptical family to join with you? How did you navigate?
Okay. For instance, honestly, if you have, I will say, a good relationship with some cousins, for instance, or brothers and sisters, siblings, right? Or uncles, start with a small group of people, let's say 5 people max. Everybody has to of course, speak up. Once you started establishing the rules, try to be as flexible, like truly and really. Ask everybody how much can you be able to contribute on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, for instance. For instance, Sister Adwa and I had one of our first Susu with two other brothers. First off, I was like, let's go $100 every week. And I think somebody said no. No, Sister Adwa said, okay, 70, 75. Somebody else said no, 50. So we have to accommodate the other person. So we went for 50 on a weekly basis. And then that's what we've done already a long time ago. Same with one of the organizations that we have together, which is called Africa Bevio. Same thing. We ask people, how much would you be able to contribute on a daily basis, for instance, or weekly basis, on a monthly basis? And then we, I think, how much was it again? $50, right? Same, $50 with Africa Bevio. But it was a group of 18 people, or I can't remember. I think we started with 20 and then went down to 18 and so on. And then we went to 15. But yeah, everybody was contributing $50. So the family is the same thing. It's like a group. Talk to them, see who's willing to do that, because we all have bills to pay. And Sister Adwa mentioned that in the beginning. Treat your Susu contribution as a bill. You pay you have a phone, you have internet connection, you have Netflix, you have all those type of things, right? Subscriptions. So keep in mind that once you got paid, your Susu money has to be ready. But again, don't go big in the beginning. Start small. Let's say $10, for instance. Every week, $10. Everybody's giving $10. You have 5 people. This is $50. That's nothing, of course. But if things go smoothly, it will encourage folks to say, next time, let's go bigger. Right.
Which is exactly what happened with ours.
Exactly, with the sisters. Everybody wants, they're not talking about 8,000 anymore, 15,000, 20,000. But that means you will have to contribute a bit more, maybe 300, 350. It really depends. So it's something very flexible. You decide the rules with your family members or with your friends or with your group. I hope I answered the question. Sister, do you have anything to add to it?
Yeah, I agree. Along with just keeping like really clear records. So, just a simple Excel spreadsheet is a really good way to keep a record. A Word document with, with automatic payments. I mean, PayPal is now ending their ability to make pools, but of course you can use Cash App, you can use Zelle, you can even use account-to-account transfers, and of course, taking a screenshot, taking sending the email receipt can serve as a supplement to the records that are being kept. So I mean, really clear records. Let everybody know that everyone has a part and a say in the way that it's ran, and really share the end mission with everybody. Right? No one's losing money, and I think that a lot of times when you start explaining these type of things, automatically someone hears, "Oh, I'm going to lose money," right? But with a Susu, you have to think of it like, if I do my part, everybody else is going to do their part. Because if you think of it like, oh, okay, well, this person's not going to do their part and that person's not going to do their part, you have to wait until you're ready. Because you honestly have to have like that manifestation factor of it, that if I do my part, everyone else is going to do theirs, right? I mean, of course, when we started the larger one, actually, we were many different people we were even in different parts of the world, right? And it took 2 or 3 conference calls and meetings for everyone to, decide to commit. And, we were very strict with the way we ran it, right? We got a little bit lenient at times, but, everything was there. Everything was up front. If at any time people had questions, we were always there to answer them. So that's really what you have to do. I mean, we do have a suggestion. It's in one of the points as well to kind of assist with that first time around. Okay, but let me know if what myself and Brother Avanon said assisted you a little bit more. If not, we can dive a little bit deeper.
Okay. So, any questions? No questions. So, Sister Adwa spoke about the way to set up the Susu. Again, here, I'm in Canada. I don't know much about Cash App, Zelle, and all those kind of things. But PayPal was a very good way to do money pooling. They're
Mhm.
ending this thing now. So to all my Africans who are into, I will say, app building, website building, this is another niche, a way to generate money because PayPal is no longer offering this service. So we African maybe should do this up. I think sister left us, but yeah. So this is how to you can set it up: e-transfer, Cash App, um, Zelle. I think she mentioned, and so on and so forth. So that's one thing. So we're gonna go to how also you can create something called emergency funds. Let's say the goal is to pay $10 on a weekly basis. And again, this is something voluntary. You're not forced to do it. Let's say you can give $12 instead of $10.
Mhm.
$2 will stay in a different account and we will keep it there. Just in case, because again, remember, we're talking about building trust.
Yes.
We're talking about helping one another. We're talking about building structures together. If Sister Adwa has a business now that she's successful and we are part of the same Susu, I'm sure I can go to her and say, listen, help me start something. That's how the Chinese are doing it. We know that. That's how the Indians are doing it. Even though they don't like each other, when it comes to money and community building, all differences are put aside. We have to be thinking the same way. We have to be thinking the same way, family. It's very, very important. Again, trust, I will keep repeating this throughout the life. Trust, it will help us build trust. Definitely. I don't know if you guys are getting this, but yes, because money is one of the main reasons why people don't talk or start fighting. But if we can overcome that, it will be easier for us to even think or talk about bigger amount of money without anybody shaking, say, oh, my money is going. No, we have built trust. You understand, guys? So the emergency funds, let's say, like I said, everybody's giving $2, $2, $2. If somebody in the group is late because again, lives happen, you know, we all have issues, we all have, you know, again, responsibilities and things of that nature, right? So if somebody is late, the emergency fund can help, pay the next person who's supposed to take their hand. And this is something we have experiment already. Everything that we're telling you guys here, we have already done it. Not once, not twice, multiple times. And it works. It definitely works. The sister spoke about a group of people, like everybody beside her and I think two other people that I met, we never seen each other. We met through Instagram or Facebook and things of that nature, but we are able to come together within one organization and say, okay, we're going to Susu. We had people in Europe, we had people in America and people in Canada, but everything went smoothly. So with the family or siblings, it would be even easier if everybody's serious, right? So trust again, trust, trust, trust. If we didn't trust each other, I don't think people from America would be sending money to Sister Adwa or to me saying, okay, this is my contribution on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. No, we had to build that trust. And then now, some of the people who were skeptical in the beginning are the one now asking me, what's the next Susu? When are we starting the next Susu? Now everybody see how sweet it is to just be contributing 50, 50, 50, 50, and then you go home with 2,800 or 2,600 or whatever the amount you guys decided. Somebody's going home with that every month. Have 3,000 in your pocket right now with no interest fees. What bank is going to give you that? Right? You're on mute, beloved. So those are things that we have to be thinking about. The
Exactly.
emergency fund as well will help anybody, not just those who are late with their payment. Something can happen, like I will say a wedding, for instance. Somebody has a wedding. Oh, we're a group of people. We trust each other. We want each other to be the African that we all talk about. Well, you know what? Sister's getting married, or we have some emergency fund and everybody has been paid. We're going to take that money. Of course, we decide together How much can we take from the emergency funds? And then this is our little contribution to our sister for a wedding or for whatever the case might be. You understand? So again, through Susu, we don't want to go because I know people will be overwhelmed with information. So we may do a second part. But again, with the Susu, also you can create an insurance company. And that's what the Cameroonian are doing here in Montreal, Canada. The insurance, every member is paying a dollar a month. But if something happened to you right now, you don't even have to explain what happened. They will give you 10,000 and you pay it whenever you want. Now, if you have somebody in your family, who passed away and you don't know what to do, you don't have the money, they will ask you how much is the cost and they will give you the money. Remember, I'm talking about Cameroonian, so most of them want to die back home or they want to be buried in Cameroon. So imagine sending a dead body or corpse to Cameroon. That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So the insurance company will take care of everything. I'm not talking about the white man insurance company. I'm talking about the Susu they started, and now they turned the Susu. The Susu is still there, but they have an insurance company where everybody gives just $1 a month. You understand? So that's something we have to think about. Insurance company, because I know a lot of people don't have life insurance in the Black community. This is something that we don't really take seriously. But let's say you create a group of people in which you're susuing on a daily basis or weekly basis or monthly basis, and then now you have been susuing for years. You can think about, how about the emergency fund? We put it toward insurance company or something like that, so that the money is always there for you guys whenever you need it, or whenever somebody in the group needs the money. You're not going to come and make up things and just to get the money and start shopping with it, right? Because you have built trust already. You know the person, again, has an issue or need extra funds. So this is something that you have to consider. Spread the word. Share the video. Talk to your family about it. They can watch these things, this video. Of course, we will try to do a part two, go in detail and how you can definitely build structures with the Susu money,
Yes.
not just taking the money home and, paying your bills with it. Thinking about something. For instance, in the Africa video, Susu, I would like you to go on that point, beloved, how, we were contributing and everybody decided to leave a certain amount in the pot, which we call the investment pot,
Mm-hmm.
and how the funds are being utilized. I would like you to go over that if it's possible, beloved.
Sure. So that's actually part of how to set up the first time Susu. So the first time Susu should really be set up as a 75-25. So what do I mean by that? 75% you take home, right? So let's just use 1,000 as a nice round figure. You take 750 home, you lose 250 back. That 250 that you leave each hand can now help if for whatever reason someone's going to be late with their contribution, and of course they've shared that with the group, or if someone needs to drop out due to an emergency, at least everyone will get their money so that no one feels like they've been left with the bag, right? But also, if nothing happens, then you have this pot of $2,500 that you can now look to see, okay, you know what, maybe there's a small project we can take advantage of, or something else that, has been looming. Maybe it was, $2,000. Now you can take advantage of this as a group, right? So not only have you built trust by everyone getting their money, but now you have something like a project that you started as a group, and you can expand on that project and, really scale it once, of course, you have more money and, more time, more ideas, etc. Right? But it is a great way to start something. I mean, I know right now, a lot of things that are big in urban cities is the community gardens. It doesn't take much money to start those, but if you can grab the space and have someone maintain it, you can do a lot with $2,000, right? You bring a lot and you bring great food to a community. Plus, you bring an initiative that shows the community, you know what, these are regular people that came together to do something. We can do the same, right? So it really is like a trickle effect in the community, right? By just starting with something really small. And also, like, when I think of a Susu, I know this is a little bit off topic, but when I think about it on a personal level, I think it's a very unselfish way to share with your community, right? So that's kind of one of the things that like motivates me to keep doing it with like a trusted group of individuals, right? Like, I mean, of course, you're not going to do it with strangers, but you set those rules, stick to them, and everyone just be transparent about what they can do. Are you happy with everything? Have those regular check-in points. I mean, even in the larger group that we're in, myself and Brother Avanon, we've probably had like 10 meetings, I would say, like no exaggerations, right? We've had a lot of meetings. Um, and sometimes it's only to go over maybe 2 to 3 points, like nothing's wrong, but we're just checking in and seeing how everyone is. And, really the feedback, as soon as we get to like the second last week of something, everyone is like, this is so awesome. It's been done so well. Like the feedback is always positive, right? Um, so yeah, let's start small. Of course, please ask your questions, because we can help you set it up. We can show you how the structure is, how things are done, how we've done it, so that you can start building within your community, right? It doesn't like I think that as a people, a lot of the times we think of, okay, you know what, if we win the lottery, then we're going to start building. You can start where you are, right? You can start where you are with what you have and build little by little. If everybody has an extra 10, $20 a week, start with a small group. Start with, if you're a student, start with other students. If you're a mom, start with other moms in the community.
Sorry,
Now,
let me interrupt you a
okay,
little
okay, no
bit.
problem, no problem.
Because when you mentioned the student, for instance, in the organization, the Africa Review, we had two different pools. We
Yes.
had the regular pool, for everybody going to work, and we have the student pool. So their contribution was less, right? So again, it shows you how flexible the rules are. Same organization, but two different susus, because some people were not able to afford $50 a week. They went with $25 a week. And that also went well. All the students were in one pool. And then they did, the susuing. Everything is well now, right? Everything is done. Everybody see how the susu can be done now. They can go and create their own. And that's the main goal actually. Once you do a susu, go and spread the word. Go and tell others again, listen, this is how you can start generating I will say some money and start your own business. So yeah, so you can
Yeah, so just start with small groups. I mean, if you're part of a parent club, start with those parents. A lot of times things will come up, right? So now it's like every parent knows, all right, you know what, when it's my turn, I'm going to get who can't use $1,000 extra, right? And then, you pay it back with no interest. I mean, I would love interest-free loans all my life, right? That's how I want to do everything. That's how I want to pay for everything. So, we have to build it to that point, have people be comfortable, be upfront, be honest. No one's needs to cheat anybody. Just, be upfront, be honest, be transparent, keep those good records, have those regular check-ins, and then give people the option to leave at the end of it. And then, you bring someone else in that the whole group agrees on. So we actually have that in our group. One lady is deciding to go back to school. So we have another gentleman that's going to be stepping up in her place. So we're all going to meet him. I believe it's this week, but
yeah.
he's already been vetted. He already, understands the way that we're doing things. He understands that he's taken the last hand. So it really is just to see him eyeball to eyeball, and then to start with him. In fact, we were even gonna restart next year March, and all of the members have agreed to restart in January. So we were like, okay, no problem. We'll restart in January. So that's how well it's gone. And again, this was just kind of something that was put out there by us, and the members said yes, of course. Let's understand how it's done. We shared the same chart that Brother Avanon shared tonight, and on that very call, everyone said yes, we're in, right? And that was last year. Was that January we started that, Brother?
Good question. May
I know
have
it
to
was
go
it
back
was in
to.
the winter, right? Because we agreed. Yeah, it was around December, January. Yeah, because we said March was when we were going to start.
I'm gonna confirm that right now.
Yeah. So, in reality, it's almost a year, and everything has been smooth sailing.
No, okay. So okay. Yeah, I think. Okay, so Shannon took her money on April 23rd.
But when
So let's
did
say
we
March.
initiate the first
On the
meeting?
first
It was,
call? Oh, yes,
yeah,
January. Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes,
It was,
yes,
a few months before we
yes.
had all those meetings. And then, but the first time we showed the concept to them, they agreed right away, and then it was just a matter of coming up with the dates, who will go when. We did that wheel thing,
Yeah,
where
spinning
yeah,
wheel. Yeah.
yes, exactly, to choose. We had to make sure everyone was happy with their position, everyone agreed on a date, and we started,
Exactly.
so it's, of course, there will be hiccups. Nothing will always be, perfect, but we are all adults. We're all responsible. We all have the same goals, which is to better our lives and each other's lives. So as long as you keep those missions, I don't see a reason why it shouldn't work.
Ashe. And something you mentioned that's very important is the frequency of the meetings before you start susuing. You have to feel the atmosphere. You have to feel people's vibe, energy to see, because some people may be quiet. You know, they're not going to say anything, and then when you start the susu, they will let you down. They will say, "Oh, you know what? I'm not part of it." So make sure you talk with people. Make sure you show them the numbers. Make sure everybody agrees on how much you are contributing, how many weeks or how many months, whatever. Everything has to be, determined with everybody being on the call and everybody agreeing. Say, "Hey, brother, did you agree?" Yes. "Hey, sister," and so on and so forth. Once everybody said yes, our next meeting is next week. Again, we're going to go over the same thing just to make sure. Are you still willing to join the Susu? You sure? Okay. This meeting is adjourned. Are we ready? No? Okay. Let's wait. Another meeting. Now let's decide when are we starting. Everybody agrees? Yes? Okay. Simple as that. So again, keep in mind this has nothing to do with the blessing loom. It's completely different. You start the Susu with 10 people, it ends with 10 people. Everybody got the same amount of money. So let's say if I contribute 1,000, the entire Susu, I'm going home with 1,000. I'm not going to be contributing 1,000 and going home with 10,000. It doesn't work like that. The African Susu does not work that way. The only thing is the 1,000 is not paid at once. It's paid on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, or whatever the case might be. But nobody comes into an African Susu thinking that they're just going to give $2 and go home with $2,000. It does not work that way, family. It does not work that way. So, any questions, family? Any questions? No? Okay. Don't be shy. You don't be shy, folks. But beloved, is there any pros? Because I know we spoke a lot about pros, but is there any cons? Let's say any reason why people shouldn't do susu, for instance?
I mean, I would say no. And the reason why I would say no is because you should be creating a group of like-minded people, not people that all think and act and look, the same, but people that have the same goals. Like, I mean, if everybody wants to better their lives, then that's going to be the mission and the only mission. Yes, there may be, some bumps. Okay, fine. Maybe your paycheck didn't come in on time. No problem. Tell somebody, right? You don't have to like go into your whole personal thing. Okay, I can't do it this time. I'm going to do it next time. That's fine, right? And once you have that like-mindedness around, um, you won't really your mind won't really go into the negative, because you're going to look at it like that's my brother or sister, that could be me as well. So I'm going to give them that grace, and we're going to move forward, right? So I don't really see cons. It's just, again, I would suggest, and reiterate, just having all of those meetings. Like, yes, sometimes, you might roll your eyes and be like, another meeting, but it works, and absolutely exactly what Brother Avanan said. Like, a few meetings, we went on there and repeated the same thing. I know everyone was probably like, right? but it was just to make sure that everyone understood, was in, and was very clear of the dates, right? And it almost was to the point where we were all sitting there repeating the dates. Okay, what's the date, everybody? Okay, what's the date, everybody? And everyone kind of went around and said, yes, we agree. Yes, we agree. Yes, we agree. And really, that's how it works so smoothly, right? Um, and again, we're going to have another meeting this week, so that's going to be meeting number 11. Just to make sure that going forward, everyone's still on the same page, right? And there will be another, probably a couple meetings before we actually start the second round. So yeah, I would say there aren't any cons. It's just the vetting process should be a little bit more than, do you have the money, right? It should be a little bit more than that, just to avoid headaches um, in the end.
Okay. So I just put the numbers there again, family, for you to see. You know, again, this is not rocket science. This is basic math, quick math, like the brother Michael Dapa would say. Okay, so Susu as a means of community building or developing a community. I think we went over it, but sister, if you can just break it down for the people there.
This is actually group economics. It truly, truly, truly is. Because when your household is good, you can now help my household be good. And then in turn, our kids go out and be good. And it's just a ripple effect, right? So, of course, when you have the money that's being left in the pot and you're able to start a project, you can, like, I guess you would more consider it building the community because, you're able to kind of see and touch what you've built. But this is a form of group economics. Just the other day, a few days ago, I drove by an area and they're building a hotel. And the first thing that I noticed was who the hotel was being financed by. It wasn't a bank, wasn't a finance company, wasn't a credit union. It was an Indian insurance company. And I said, you know what? These people are not playing for 1 second. And again, all they've done was they pooled their money and they've now said, you know what? We're going to build our own hotel. We don't need any financing. So remember, when you don't have any outside financing, you determine your rules. You determine what's being done. You determine who you're hiring, everything you can determine from start to finish, right? This is the kind of thing that we need, but we need multiple of that in our community. I mean, we have a lot of bright young people that have great ideas, that have that can really, take us to the next level with certain things, right? Like, I mean, apps are going to be something that is going to take us into the future. Um, Again, the other day I was reading an article about all the jobs and careers that are going to be obsolete, right? These are things that we have to share with our young people. So, IT, tech, um, fintech, building apps, coding, all of these things are going to be what brings us into the future. But we're going to need money to fund these things, right? We're going to need, money to fund them to make our lives easier. So if we already have the young people that have the talent and now they're missing the money, why would they stay in the community? It doesn't make any sense, right? They should go where the money is. Like, you can't have all this talent and not be able to eat. It's deflating, right? But anyway, that's a whole, we can go in that direction and we'll be here for hours. So,
Yeah. But it's good.
these are,
What you just mentioned. I just want to expand a little bit on what you just mentioned in regards to creating businesses. For instance, you spoke about fintech and whatever. Yes, we have people with diplomas and skills, but we're not able to hire them because we don't have structures built for them. So now you spoke about the hotel. Of course, you and I spoke about this privately. It's an Indian insurance company building a hotel, mainly for who? For Indians. But of course, a hotel does not discriminate.
nope.
So black people will still go there. That's how they're making their money. So we have to think the same way. We have to think about ways to create services for everybody, because I think that's one of the issues with the black community. Everybody want to sell things for black people. Okay, you're selling your made in China dashiki for black people. The Chinese are not going to wear them, and if they wear them, we're going to say cultural appropriation and things of that nature, right? But if the Chinese now is selling water, everybody drinks water. You're going to purchase the water from the Chinese if this is the only water company in your city. So those are the things that we have to be thinking about. Establishing business or businesses with the Susu money so that you don't pay any interest once you receive your money. Here, for instance, I don't know if you guys can see here. Hold on a quick second. So this is 12,000, right? Let's say 12,000. Everybody leaves the money in the pot. Nobody touch the money. Nobody goes home every 6 weeks with 12,000. You leave the money there. 10 members times 12,000 times 10, that's 120K. You start a business with it. You can literally start a business with that. And that's a lot of money because I've seen people starting business with 2,000, 3,000. So you buy an entire house with that. You put it to rent or you renovate it and you flip it. Those are things that we have to be thinking about. We have to stop selling shea butter, yoni eggs and things, and thinking that this is the way to build generational wealth. This is not the way, family. You have to create services because there is a demand there for services. Come up with a service that, of course, will, help your people first, but a business from which everybody can benefit from. Like Garvey said, buy black, but sell it to everybody. Buy black, but sell it to everybody. So if we are just making t-shirts and hoodies and putting pro-black, no Chinese is going to go and purchase those things. How many hoodies are those companies or those black businesses selling on a yearly basis, for instance? Right. So those are things that we have to be thinking about. So the Susu will help small businesses, or will help anybody willing to go create a venture. But again, you will have to assess, the venture in which you're going, like what you want to do. Make sure that, okay, I know the pros and cons, because you don't want to put 12,000 in a business that you didn't really properly study, right? And that's again where I'm gonna not praise but talk about the Chinese, because the Chinese Susu, they always have a business accountant, a business specialist, somebody who's going to tell you, no, never put your money in this type of business, because this is his business, this is his skills, he knows or she knows, right? So they will do the market study for you and will tell you if you can or you cannot. So same thing with black people. Once you take your money, make sure you ask or you do your research, because we hear this quite often. Oh, I lost all my money. It wasn't the business wasn't going forward. Everything was just I don't know. But so we have to be like, we have to be sure before we put money into something, especially if it's a Susu money, because you will have to pay it back, or you're paying back. You don't want to lose 12,000 just like that, or 10,000 just like that, right? For instance, the Susu in which I am with the system. Once I took my 8,000, I told her the 8,000, I didn't eat a penny in it. I sent it back home on my land. That's how I'm building fences and houses. 8,000 is not that much, but it's a lot when you send it to Africa, right? So that's even with 8,000, I don't know how many acres you can purchase. Nearly 10 or 20 acres in some countries. But anyways, I have the land already, so I just put the money there, and they're building fence, they're doing whatever they want to do with the money. But again, without the Susu, I won't be able to just withdraw 8,000 of my, no, I can't. That money helped me. And same thing with another brother from the States. He told me the same thing, that the Susu in which he was, once he took his money, he just sent the money to Ghana. And now they're working on his land with the money. Anybody, other folks here are starting businesses with those things. So think about business. Think about business. Think about creating structures that will help us, of course, as a Black people, but also offer services to other races. That's how you make money. The Indian or the Indians who have the gas station, when your Black person come in, they're not going to say they are not selling you gas. They're going to sell you the thing, even if they're not smiling at you, because everybody needs gas. If you have a car, you will need to put gas in it. Here, for instance, in Canada, I was telling my sister, for instance, I can't mention the company in which I'm working with, because again, but I was telling her how the Indians are taking over the health industry. All the big pharmacies in Canada are owned by Indian folks. You see, but how can they purchase pharmacies? Group economics, Susuing. If they have the Susu, let's say they have a Susu of 100,000 and they need maybe an extra 50K, the bank will give them, because they have come up with more than half of the money already. And they know pharmacy, everybody goes to the pharmacy. So this is a profitable business. They're going to give them the remaining money. So we have to think same way. The sister spoke about fintech, all kind of application that we can build to help our people, but also offer services to other communities. Now we are using PayPal for our Susu, right? Imagine if we had somebody thinking about, okay, just creating an app for Susu specifically. The person will make money because of the traffic. Because whenever you do a transaction using PayPal, PayPal charges you. Same thing will be with the app that a Black person will create. But we don't have to label that thing Black Susu or whatever. No, it's just a Susu app, money pooling app. Everybody can utilize it. Cash App, it's not the Black person who created the Cash App, but everybody's utilizing Cash App. So we have to think the same way. We can't segregate when it comes to money. The Chinese that don't discriminate. They will take your money. They will take your money. The fried rice, they're going to sell it to you. Either you're black, yellow, or blue. So we have to be thinking the same way. I don't know if anybody has a question, but I feel like we are done for today. Unless there's something that somebody want to say, family, don't be shy, don't be shy. Questions. You know, I'd rather you guys have questions that we cannot answer than coming back and, and saying, yes, we got everything figured out. No, ask us questions. If we don't have the answers, we will tell you, listen, folks, we will provide you the answers next time when we are, so family, any questions? No? So, well, I think we're done. We're done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, beloved, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, beloved, honestly.
You're welcome.
No. So family, share the live, like, comment. I put 3 books recommendation on the description box. So once the live ends, you can go there, check Susunomics, the Falsification of African Consciousness by Dr. Amos Wilson. Again, he did not, go in depth into the Susu, but he explained how the Susu was helping Cameroonians to build hotels, restaurants, like big businesses. We're not talking about, again, selling clothes. You know how much it would cost to build a hotel. People Susu together and were able to build hotels with this type of group economic system. So we have to be thinking the same way. Each one teach 9, like I love saying. Thank you for your time. I truly appreciate your time. You can reach out to me on IG or whatever platform we utilize. Once again, family, peace.
Peace, everyone. Peace.
Stay blessed. I'm gonna just put my generic there, and then we're out. Peace, family.
When I am dead, wrap the mantle of the red, the black and the green around me. For in the new life I shall rise up with God's wisdom. To lead the millions of the heights and the